Welcome to the Power of One. Today I have the pleasure of speaking with Miss Kim. When I met Miss Kim, it was by way of phone call and she didn't know who I was, but she was dealing with the most tragic incident of her life because her 15-year-old son had been murdered on a school day. Miss Kim did not know who she could trust, but I kept loving on Miss Kim and she actually opened up her heart to me. Miss Kim, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Miss Kim, let's talk about Neko. Who was Neko?
Nico is a sweetheart. Um, he loved to laugh. I didn't realize how much he loved to like joke and laugh, but he loved laughing and having fun, having a good time.
And you
He's
and
my
Neko was
sweetie.
your firstborn?
He was my firstborn son, yes.
Okay. Okay. So on March 13th, and correct me if I'm wrong, were you on your way to work? Tell us about March 13th from beginning to end.
Ooh, March 13th. So, I saw Nico. The last time I saw Nico, he was leaving to school. It was about 7 o'clock in the morning, and he came and woke me up and asked for like $20, and that was it. We would always squeeze each other so tight. I would squeeze him so tight, tell him I loved him to be safe, and that was the last time I saw him that morning. I went to work as usual. It was a Monday, and I went to work, and about I'm sorry, like 1 o'clock maybe. I received a call from Einstein Hospital. One of the doctors had called me, and they didn't tell me anything. He just told me that Nico was shot, and and that was it. I work far, I commute, so I was telling him like I was a couple hours away, like I was far, and so he just told me that they would be there and just to take my time and get over there. It was pouring rain that day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I sped over there, emergency lights on, like sped over there. I was eating the Roosevelt Boulevard lights, like just to get there. Halfway there, it didn't hit me till halfway. I was like an hour into my drive and I realized like that he was gone. At first, when just he told me the doctor told me that Nico was shot, I just thought he was, hurt. Because when I asked if he was hurt, he said he couldn't tell me. But so my, natural optimistic self was like, okay, like he got shot, he's okay, like he's just in the hospital, let me go. And but about an hour into my drive, I realized like, okay, I asked him, and you know, the doctor's response, now it's just hitting me now that that he's gone.
Wow. And
So
that was just something that it's just like clicked. Oh my goodness, my
yeah,
baby's no longer with me.
yeah. Yeah, so I had called my cousin Nancy. She lives like 5 minutes from us, and she raised Nico since he was like 3 months. She like was his caretaker. So I called my cousin Nancy, like, Nancy, go to Einstein, like, for so she could be with him. But when I got there, uh she was in that little room in the emergency room. I didn't know. I never, you know what I mean? I
Mhm.
never experienced that. So when they told me to go in there, and I'm claustrophobic, they told me to go in that little room, and then the doctor came and she was just crying. I was like, Nancy, did you? I'm oblivious. I'm like still hopeful, still, even though I had thought that an hour into my drive, like that he was gone. I was still,
Mhm.
okay, like I'm here. I want to see my son, like, and but once I was in that little room and saw her crying, I'm like, Nancy, like, where's Neko? Did you see Neko? And she just wasn't talking. She was just crying. So I was like, oh man. And the doctor, I was like, no, like I can't be in this little room. Like, don't tell me anything while I'm sitting in this room. And they took me to like a bigger, like a operating room, like a
Mhm.
bigger room. And your colleague was there. I didn't know who she was. I was freaking out because I was like, what? I'm very private. And I'm like, I just
Mhm.
saw a face I didn't know with Nancy. And then, like, there was a nurse and the doctor. And then, so he had to kind of tell me the details of, how they tried to save his life.
Mhm.
So it didn't
And
feel
did they,
real.
when they came into the room, did they say to you, Miss Kim, we're sorry to tell you? Did you know at that point, or the doctor actually told you?
Oh yeah, the doctor actually had to come tell me. He had to be the one to come tell me.
Yeah.
Nobody else could tell me. Yeah, because I even called just to uh just to see if my cousin got let in. Like
Mhm.
nobody could tell me nothing. Nobody. It had to be the doctor, I believe.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Now, do you remember at that point when the doctor told you? Do you remember like what was going through your mind?
oh, that it wasn't real.
Mm.
It wasn't reality. That whatever he was telling me was not true. And
Mhm.
I was just screaming, yelling, like that it
Mhm.
wasn't real, that it wasn't real. Like I couldn't believe what he was telling me. It
Mm.
wasn't, yeah, I didn't want to believe it. I wasn't accepting it.
Yeah. Now, that day for me was, it was just heartbreaking. And no story is the same for me. No incident is the same for me. And I treat everybody with respect. I treat everybody with empathy. I treat everybody with love because I just can't imagine. I can't even imagine how you're speaking to me right now with such a strength and such grace. I remember that. And I remember hearing that there was a student who had left school early, and it was three gunmen. And then I
Yeah.
remember hearing that there was this older man who was walking down the street, and I think he witnessed the whole thing. I think he may have been walking with his son. I don't know if I had that part
Mm.
correct. The part that boggles my mind, your baby was 15. When you found out that there were three gunmen, what did you think about?
That I mean, that to me, I take it like my son was strong. Like you guys were scared of my son. Like it took three of you to shoot him down. And also the hate. I was like, wow, my son was hated that much. Like he had to been gunned down that much. I mean, for them to be only three, for there to be three, and he was shot 10 times was, you know, he should have been shot up even more for there to be three of them. But that tells me you were scared of him, or you couldn't just take him one on one, whatever the problem was. It just, I don't like. I feel like he was feared. Then you're telling me he was feared if it took three of you to shoot him down.
I cannot believe it. And I remember in like speaking to you, and none of the gunmen were apprehended at this point. And I said, okay, well, let me get some coverage for you from one of the police districts on where the funeral will take place. And we were just communicating by text. And I just felt you as a mother. And you said, I don't need no protection. If anybody wants to come, let them come. So it wasn't, and viewers, let's be clear about something. It wasn't that you were looking to do anything for anybody, but somebody had just killed your son as your baby. So right now it's time for you to fight in whatever means necessary.
Yes. I
And that's how you
mean,
felt.
yeah, and I still feel that way. I mean, I
Mhm.
can either be scared or, I mean, I'm my spirit. I'm have a natural fighting spirit. Like that's just, but it's just that's how I feel. I feel like that now too. I don't want to be walking around scared, and you know, it's that's how I still feel that way. Like
Okay.
because
Okay.
sometimes they will retaliate with their families. Like sometimes these shooters don't even stop with just the victim themselves. They'll attack the families and go after the families, and and I feel like at this point, yeah, I feel the same. Like, you want to do it, I'm right here. Like it's
Mhm.
it's it's I feel like I can retaliate on them, like they're children, I feel like,
Right. Now, was any of the shooters apprehended?
to my knowledge, no.
Mm,
Still to this day, no.
mm. But you're in constant contact with the homicide detective assigned to your baby's case.
Yeah, I drive him crazy. I email him all
That's what,
the time.
that's what you do because you are going to be Nico's best advocate. You know what I mean? It's not going to be anybody from any community based agency. It's not going to be me. It's
Yeah.
going to be you. And you continue to reach out to that homicide detective to get updates. That's what you do. Was there any witnesses?
Uh, you know, you mentioning the man walking with his son, that's the first time I heard that. I wasn't aware of that.
Okay.
Um,
If I'm not mistaken, don't hold me
yeah,
against,
no.
don't hold me to that. But
Yeah,
I
no.
remember, and maybe I don't know whether you can Google some stories. I don't know why I remember hearing on one of the news stations that there was an older man. I'm not sure whether he was walking his child to school, but he actually witnessed it. But ask the homicide detective, weren't there
Yeah.
any witnesses?
It's very, they don't, I know they can't tell me much, because it's an ongoing investigation, but I mean, the street is very busy. It's a very busy, the Navy Yard is right next door. There's a bodega across the street. There's a garage across the street, and the apartments are right there. Like, it's very busy. The shop right, or everything is right there. Like, uh, it's just, and the fact that we used to live like literally 2 minutes from there, it's like,
Mm.
it hurts my heart. But yeah, I mean, they really can't tell me anything.
Now, have you been to visit the location since your baby passed?
Uh, I I went I think that night or like the night after, and I was trying to light him a candle. It was so windy though; it wouldn't stay lit, and I went that time, and I probably went one more time, but something tells me not to go. Like
Mm,
I have a steak right here. It's like it's a steak, but it has his name. It's very elegant. It's like black, white, and red with like a
mhm,
red rose, and has his name and date. Um, and I wanted to put it there for him, and I wanted to put like a picture, and you know, Oh, I did. I was around there. I was putting flyers up. I was putting flyers in the
Okay.
mailboxes and putting flyers all in that neighborhood.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't want to put that stake and then they come and, you know,
Hmm.
vandalize it, throw
Right.
on it, urinate on it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
these kids are disrespectful. These kids are
Yeah.
disrespectful and they don't care. So, you know, as I do eventually, I'm gonna put it. And if they mess it up, then they mess it up because I'm like, what if, the housing authority takes it out? You know what I mean? But I'm gonna put it, and if they take it out, then they do.
So this is what I would suggest, that you reach out to that elected official in that area and ask them for their help. And I'll help you with that. Okay. So we'll see what elected official is in that area and we'll ask them for their help and what's the best way to do it so it can't be vandalized.
Oh,
Right.
oh, okay.
We'll do it that way. I'll make the call and then I'm gonna reach out back out to you. Now your
Oh,
baby
that'd be nice.
cells. And then he was just recently transferred to Kensington High.
Yes, because we used to live right there. So he went from Cornell to Harding, and then he started ninth grade in Fels. But then that summer, the summer before he went in ninth grade, we had to move.
Mm,
So, but he was just getting comfortable with his friends. Like he was just starting to like socialize and like starting to like fit in somewhere. And I like noticed, a change. Like he was becoming more confident, just, as a young boy.
and he
He
never expressed any concern, anything with any that he was having problems with any classmates or anybody.
uh he had got jumped at Fells a couple months before he was killed.
Mm,
So yeah, I feel like that was related because I straight up told him because that's when I transferred him. After he
mm,
got jumped, I said, "That's it. Like nothing's happening for you in the school. You getting hurt, you getting jumped, you're gonna get killed now. Like they're gonna kill you." So that's when
mm.
I transferred him.
And but you don't know what that altercation was stemmed from.
No, I don't know.
Mhm.
No,
And see, here's the thing. So, and I'm in my 50s, early 50s. But see, back
looking
in the
great.
day, you know, we fought and that was
Yeah.
it. And we lived to see another day. That's not the case today. And I don't know if these young people understand you're actually taking a life. Neko was 15. At 15, we're out playing hide and go seek. We're out playing can ball. You know what I mean? We're outside playing all day. We didn't come in until it started to get dark. And then we had to
Yeah.
eat with our families. But it's just so sad that there are so many young people, black and brown, who have lost their lives to gun violence. And again, it's just not affecting you, it affects your whole family. How is your family doing?
There, our family's resilient. Like I don't know what I would have did without them. And like the Rivera side, oh my God, so much because um, if they weren't at the funeral, it would have just been my parents and my daughter. I really, they're so strong and they really gave me strength through all this and they really helped me so much.
That's good. And you have a daughter. How old's your daughter?
She's 13.
Now, how does she take it? How is she doing?
Um, she's resilient. She is so strong. That little girl's my rock. She she gives me strength. She would come and like make me food and like, here, ma, you gotta eat. And she's so strong. She's much stronger than me.
Yeah, yeah. And then both of you figure out a way to get through every day.
Yeah, yeah, because it was just us three. It was us three
Mm-mm.
for years. That was us. Like it was us.
Now, is your daughter, is she afraid to like go to school or walk to and from school because of what happened to her brother?
Yeah, she doesn't really want to associate um with people really. She was already a little bit like that,
Mhm.
and then now more so. Yeah,
Mm,
she doesn't want to live in the city at all.
mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
and I don't
I
blame her.
want to talk about social media for a minute. Was your baby on social media? And did you see anything alarming on like his page or any of his social media sites?
So to my knowledge, he didn't have a page. He had an old page with like one post on it from when he was like 10 or something. But
Okay.
I didn't let him like keep it, because I didn't want him to have a social media so young. Like I didn't want him to have it, so
Exactly.
he didn't. But to my knowledge, other no, I'm not aware of anything. I made him a page like day after he died, but other than that, I'm really not aware of any other social media he was on. His
Mhm.
friends from school had sent me pics, and I mean that's the whole thing. Like there's online beef and they online talking, mess to each other, and that's what's like antagonizing this whole mess for
Right.
nothing because words were exchanged online, and it gets heated. I understand why they reach the heights that they do, because just me going on there and talking to kids, and I'm an adult and I'm talking to these kids and I'm getting hot, and I'm like, it I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, I understand, and I have to stop myself, and I have to be like, these are kids, like you can't do that, you can't like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I'm sure, I'm gonna guess he was on there, whatever they were doing online. I don't know if that's what sparked it. I really
Mhm.
don't know details. The kids are scared to talk. People,
Yeah.
people
Of course
in general are
they
just
are.
scared to talk.
They
Yeah,
are. Because, like you
they have to
said,
go back to school.
yeah, it's no regard for human life.
Yeah, no,
And
absolutely not.
yeah, and people are afraid. And I'm not on social media. I don't do social media at all.
I, yeah, I really didn't either before my son
Yeah.
passed. Yeah.
Now you said you started a page after Neko passed away, keeping Neko's legacy alive. And tell me about that page.
So it's official Neko Forever 2023. Um, I started it just because the images that I have of him. So I just wanted to, just the outlet for
Hmm.
that. And
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah, as he turned more like teenager, he wouldn't let me take pictures. I would always have to sneak pictures of him. And one of the ones I took like in December, he has like a black puffer jacket. He was actually on his way out to his friend's house. It was like a Saturday night, and he asked me for like $20 or something. I'm in the kitchen, and I'm like, if you let me get a picture, I had to bribe him. I had to
Right.
bribe him because he would not let me take any pics. So I just, yeah, I'm gonna eventually run out of the big boy pics, but yeah,
Okay. Well, that's what you do, Mom. You keep your baby's legacy alive. He was with you for 15 years and celebrate
yeah.
each birthday as each birthday goes by. And again, keep that legacy alive. And my condolences to you and
Oh,
your
thank you,
family.
Melanie.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I just want people to understand that when you take a life, it's not just one life. You take something from a mother, you take something from a father, you take something from grandparents, you take something from aunts and uncles, cousins, nieces and nephews and friends. I am going to ask before you pull that trigger, you put that gun down and make another decision on how to resolve all of your conflicts. Enough is enough. The gun violence has to stop in Philadelphia, the Commonwealth, and all around the world. Peace and love.